Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fermented Fiction author interview of the month. Today we are interviewing S.K. Ehra, the author of the Crossroads trilogy. Is there a third one coming out, or is it a series?
Series. So far, I got 5 books planned out.
Okay, so the Crossroads series, we're going to talk specifically about the first one, Call from the Crossroads, which follows some very interesting characters and a spooky supernatural thriller plot. But welcome to the show, SK. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
I guess we'll just jump right in. This is a fantastic book, in my opinion, Call from the Crossroads. The first thing that really draws me into it, though, is your protagonist, Logan, is such a fascinating character. So you write an ex-military who's recently been released from a psych ward, who's a medium, but in a very interesting way, which hopefully you can kind of describe that for us. How do you come to find that character, and how do you get in that headspace to write for Logan walking through the desert?
Yeah. So it started off with a very simple idea in that I wanted a protagonist who does the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And it's not past traumatic events or haunting from the past that put him on the path. Instead, those are the obstacles that stand in his way to achieve that goal. Mm-hmm. And from that simple premise, it just became a question of what skill sets does he need to have in order to fulfill the mission of each book. And one of them was, okay, it would help if he was military. That way he can get into a little bit of a scuffle. So there was a month or two where I was reading nothing but memoirs and autobiographies of people who had served in the Middle East to really get in the headspace and figure out how these people thought, how they talked, and make a realistic ex-military soldier. And it was mission accomplished when I sent it out to some beta readers, and somebody got back to me complaining, going, "Ugh, Logan, he just reminds me of all those military bros I hang out with." It's going, all right, I guess that works.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, and I'm sure Clayton will have some commentary on this too, because I think a big conversation in writing circles right now is like, can you write for characters that aren't like your demographic? And I think you display, and I've seen you do this, as I know you personally, I've seen you do the right thing, and where it's like, yes, you can, but it requires a lot of work. Like, you have to do your research. You have to find those headspaces of those characters. I don't know if you would agree, but I know you do that.
Yeah, and especially with speculative fiction, is that I'm also not a medium who could hear the voices of the dead and is haunted by a demon. So any book I would write would be terribly boring if it was based solely on my personal experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We want to tell stories that are interesting, not only to our audience, but to us, right? And so if you're interested in a topic, like I've been doing a lot of reading on like saturation diving. I find that fascinating, where people spend like weeks underwater because it's actually faster than going up and down. It's insane. So, but like, I don't know anything about that world. I don't know the terminology. I don't know what it's like to live in a underwater box for weeks at a time. But like, you do your research and respect what you're learning about, respect what you're writing about. And I think it usually turns out good.
Yeah. Research is really the critical part of that as well. And like what you said, not just respect, but an understanding that what you're writing isn't something that's just filling in a space, that this is a person you're trying to create. And so you have to treat both the people that you're researching, whether it's people who are submerging themselves underwater for weeks on end, or people who've served in the military, going, these are individuals with their own experiences. How can I bring this to light?
Mm-hmm. Now, I started with like a heavy questionnaire and didn't even think, this is terribly organized, but didn't even think to just ask you, could you like tell the listeners a little bit what exactly is Call from the Crossroads about, your elevator pitch, if you will?
All right. So Call from the Crossroads is a supernatural thriller that follows the protagonist, Logan, as he has discovered he can hear the voices of the dead, and he now has to live with that which is a lot more complicated than he would like it to be, as he's also being haunted by more than just ghosts. It's getting a little bit spooky.
All right. Have you always been into the supernatural?
Yeah. In second grade, we were doing speeches where we had to take an excerpt from a story and read it to the class. And without hesitation, I picked a short story about classic woman in white. Guy picks up girl stranded on the road, turns out to be a ghost. There is no question about it. I was hooked from the start.